You guys know how hard it was for me to make the decision to sell off some of my colubrid snakes because I love each of my animals so much. So I thought today you guys might want to see which animals we decided to keep. Later on in the vlog too, you guys sent me a bunch of really cool stuff that I'm going to be opening up. And within literally a matter of a day or two, you guys ended up buying all the adult colubrids that we had for sale. I think there's just a handful of animals left over at bhbreptiles.com. I think that Lori said she might put a few other groups up for sale, but these are absolutely the keepers, the ones that Lori and I decided we were going to keep for sure. And of course we're going to keep a neat group of albino Honduran milk snakes. We actually had the first albino Honduran milk snakes in the country, and this particular one is a really interesting male that has an interesting color pattern. And then this is what they would just call an extreme red tangerine Honduran milk snake. So we're keeping a pretty little decent group of albino Hondurans. I mean, take a look at this female right here. And again, these are just near and dear to our heart, so we couldn't get rid of everything. We had to keep some stuff. Listen, I'm still going to be excited about breeding snakes, and although this is all the snakes we kept, so basically there's 10, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so there's less than 60 snakes. I mean, it's kind of crazy to go from literally hundreds and even thousands of snakes to go down to 60 snakes. But with that being said, it was definitely the right decision. Of course, we kept some of these. I love these guys. These are the T positive albino Nelson's milk snakes, and I've talked about this before, is that when you breed a T positive to a T negative, which doesn't have this kind of grayish brownish look to it, it actually produces half of T positive and half T negative. And it's really interesting because you don't see that in too many other T positive mutations. So we're keeping a group of Nelson's milk snakes as well. And then of course we have to keep some hognose snakes. I mean, hognose snakes are another one that are near and dear to my heart. Western hognose snakes are so absolutely incredible. We had the second albino hognose snakes that were ever sold from a guy named Rich Evans down in Lubbock, Texas. And we also had the first one that he sold of the pastel pink. And it took us a long time to get to a position where we could actually produce pastel pinks because genetically they weren't that good. And look at this male's trying to breed right here. This is an albino anaconda just to a nice big albino female right here. And again, those are like those original animals that we had. Of course, we even have a little superconda here. Look at how cool that is. So we're keeping all the Western hognose snakes that we have just because they're absolutely incredible and they mean so much to me. You know, I mean, they're such incredible animals. We are keeping some of these really amazing albino high white reverse Okatee corn snakes. So basically what that is what they call it reverse Okatees, is that it's an albino Okatee. Then there's these extreme high white ones that are really absolutely incredible. And we raise these up from babies, and this will be the first year that they're able to produce. So we decided we wanted to keep a little group of those. I think we're keeping about 4 or 5 animals in this group, so we can hopefully produce some of those this year just because they're really cool. Remember when I was talking about the pastel pink albino hognose snakes? That's these guys right here. And what basically happened when we bought the first ones, they were genetically really difficult to work with. It wasn't that Rich sold me a bad animal, it's just that sometimes when you get a new mutation, they're not really strong, right? So we had to do things like breed het to het and het to normal and do all kinds of outcrossing. It took us about 5 or 6 years to get to a point where the pastel pinks not only would eat when they were born, they would actually even live too. Oftentimes the pastel pinks would literally hatch out and die within a couple days. We got them to live, to eat, to thrive, to breed, to reproduce, and it took us several years to do it. So I'm really excited that the pastel pink line now out there is really a strong hognose line, and I just love them to death, and I'm so happy that I had a chance to work with them. So we have a few more of those, and then of course we ended up keeping some animals that, again, all these animals are super near and dear to my heart. These are actually leucistic Texas rat snakes, and these are actually het for scaleless. So we ended up getting rid of the scaleless Texas rat snake group, which really hurt me because we really worked on that project for, gosh, 12, 13 years, really refining it. But we did keep the leucistics. Now I remember when I was really young and going over Mark Bell's house, which was my mentor when I was 15, 16 years old, and he had leucistic Texas rats. They were like one of the pinnacles. It was the first really white snake that was ever produced, and they were like $300 a piece back then when I was just a kid. Now they've gotten a little bit cheaper, but they're still really cool, and they still meant enough to me to where I was like, you know what, I'm going to keep a couple pair of leucistic Texas rats, and I'm also going to keep the fact that they're het for scaleless so I can produce some of those. Then we ended up just with a handful of corn snakes that are really cool, like this is an albino het plasma and a couple other things like that. We have a lavender het plasma, which is really cool. The lavender corn snakes are something that I always have loved so dearly, and the fact that the plasmas are actually the lavender diffuse corns are what they used to call blood red corns, and they're just really cool. So we kept a nice group of like lavender plasma stuff. Can't get rid of all our corn snakes, right? I mean, there's no doubt we had to keep some of them, and we did keep a handful of other corn snakes as well. Like for instance, we kept our tiger scaleless corn snakes. Now you guys know I love the scaleless stuff, and like I had mentioned, I had to get rid of the scaleless rat snakes that sold super quick, but we did keep this particular line. It's called a tiger scaleless, so it's just kind of more like a Siberian tiger, right? We've been working on this line mine for the last maybe 5 or 6 years, and they're just so absolutely beautiful. So we ended up keeping those. Of course, we kept the pied musarana rat snake group here. These guys are incredible. They're not ready to breed this year, but you know, the thing that's interesting is these guys are snake eaters in the wild, right? So the fact that I'll actually be handling corn snakes and king snakes and milk snakes like I just have been doing, and then this guy could actually smell it. Sometimes it'll actually try to eat my hand if it does it. So if you got smell of snake on your hand, it can sometimes try to bite you. And these are rear fang venomous, not a real potent venom, but still they do have some venom. So we'll definitely keep my hands away from getting bit by this guy. But what an absolute beautiful animal. So we definitely had to keep these guys. Hopefully next year we can actually breed them. I think that would be really cool. Another snake that just I could not get rid of course, are my mandarin rat snakes. Look at that snake here. And I remember when I was younger, they were only imported mandarin rat snakes. And literally, if you bought 100 mandarin rat snakes from the wild that came out of China, 99 of them would die because they just didn't do well. Usually 100 of them would, to be honest with you. And then there was a guy named Larry Keller from a place called Prairie Land Herb that actually finally produced some captive-born mandarin rat snakes, and they did really well, you know. And I bought some of the very first ones he ever produced, and these are actually derivatives from that original animal all those years ago, probably 20 years ago, and they literally do as well as corn snakes. I mean, they are absolutely incredible animals. And you can see, ooh, it mussed on me, it pooped on me, it does not smell good. So I think I'm gonna wash my hands real quick and show you the last couple animals. A little bit less stinky now that I washed my hands. And of course I had to keep some of my coral snow group, that really beautiful pink corn snake group. It's a snow corn, which is an amelanistic, aneurystic, or black corn, but this is actually the high pink version. I've told you guys before, it's a polygenically bred thing where you breed the pinkest animal to the pinkest animal, and eventually you just get this like Easter colored pink corn snake. So we ended up keeping a couple pair of those just because, again, it's a project we worked on for so long and I couldn't possibly get rid of everything. Of course, one of my favorite corn snakes of all time are the palmetto corn snakes. Look at this. A guy named Don Soderberg actually got the original one. I think it came out of Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong about that, but he got the very first one years ago, and everyone was absolutely blown away. It's a recessive mutation. It's just absolutely incredible. And unlike the cow reticulated pythons, which they look very similar to, they actually are born this way and they stay this way their whole life. So they don't gain pigment, they don't lose pigment. As soon as they're hatched, you know what they're going to look like. Some people have been breeding them into different mutations, but all in all, really just a normal palmetto corn snake looks the best in my opinion, because it has some of the oranges, it has the blacks, it has the grays, and just all these really cool colors. So we did keep a little group of palmetto corn snakes because again, they're just so freaking awesome. And don't get me wrong, it's sad to see all these cages out, and it's sad to see all these empty racks and stuff like that, but it was the right decision for us right now. And of course, the last colubrids that I'm keeping here are actually these Japanese rat snakes. Now there's a couple colubrids I will say up at BHB that we're raising up, like the file snakes, all our boega we're keeping, and a handful of other animals that we're keeping as well. But this is the adults. Think about that. I went from probably my peak, my colubrid collection, having probably about 6,000 colubrids, and now I have less than 60. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was always going to downsize into a smaller collection and kind of do it more of a hobby type of thing, but you know, that was a 5-year plan. That 5-year plan kind of got accelerated, and now here we are just with this handful of animals. We still should produce maybe 200, 300 baby snakes, which will be really cool this year, but it's definitely going to be a long shot from those days where I was collecting crazy amounts. As a matter of fact, when I had my big collection of colubrids, my biggest day was 2,200 eggs in one day, believe it or not. Maybe 1 or 2 clutches a week or something like that is what's going to happen, but hey, that's it. So I wanted to show you what we did keep, and the rest of the stuff, like I said, you guys bought up so quick. There are a few more animals left for sale if you guys are interested over at bhbreptiles.com, but for the most part, most of the stuff sold, which is very sad to me, and it's hurting my heart, but at the same time, I hope they go to someone that really loves them and actually produces them, and it'll be really great. So that's it for colubrids that I kept. I still have my python collection for now. We'll see if we end up making a decision on that sometime soon as well. Let's go open up the stuff that you guys have been sending me. You guys have been sending me so much stuff, and this is just a handful of it here, but I want to just express my gratitude for the love that you guys have been doing. This is actually from Mark Harmanic from New York, New York. What do we have here? For Brian's Eyes Only, so I will definitely not read that online. Oh my god, these are so cool. Take a look at these guys. Barczyk Strong. I mean, how cool is that? And it's a whole box of them, so everyone in the crew can have them. That is so cool. I tell you what, that is amazing. This is an extra large here, so hopefully there'll be some larges in here that fit. Actually, I'm getting to the point where now I might need mediums pretty soon if I lose any more weight. Point is, that is amazing. So thank you, Mark. This is beautiful. I love them. You'll definitely be seeing me sporting these at some point. This is from Tanjun Brand from Toledo, Ohio. And again, your guys' support on all levels is so amazing to me. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible that you guys are sending me all the love and the support. It says, happy holidays. Might be the wrong time of the year. Definitely getting in. I think we just got into spring if I'm not mistaken, but that's okay. What do we got? Oh, let's see, what is this? That's a pretty cool shirt. I do like it. It's actually, it's very interesting. I appreciate it. Next one is from, it says Lego Shipping Manager. Actually, a friend of mine that was beating breast cancer, and she did, by the way. She actually was into Legos big time, and it is something from Legos. Look at this, a wildflower bouquet. That is cool. Like I said, my friend Kathy literally did Legos almost every day through her treatment, chemo treatment. It just kept her mind off it. So this gives me my first Legos to try to mess with when I'm going through things. There's no note in here, so I'm not sure who sent it, but thank you so much. That's super cool. It's just kind of an irony that my friend actually did that, and then you sent me Legos. That's pretty cool. Maybe I'll get into them. I don't know. All right, what do we have? Looks like maybe a blanket, which I probably will be needing a blanket because here through treatment you get some chills and stuff like that, so I will definitely like that. Let's see what we got here. All right, health, recovery, high spirits, a bunch of motivational stuff, get well, love, positivity. This is just great, and again, it's awesome. Like I said, I'm going to probably be needing some blankets, and I'm getting the chills with treatments. Thank you so much. Again, not exactly sure who sent it. It says you've shared your positive with all of us through the tough journey. I hope you feel all the positive energy and support we're sending you, one day at a time, from Lou for John and the Reptile Army. So thank you, Lou. Just a few more things. I'll probably, you know, open up some more maybe every few days if you guys don't mind it, just because I want to show my appreciation. Again, we have a bunch of stuff that I didn't get to. So it's from Triana, and it's from New Jersey, and there's a nice note in here that I'll read later. It just says, love, Triana family. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and see what this is. Oh, and it's just a whole bunch of, look at that, bunch of stickers and some stuff like that. Oh, these are healing crystals, which is fantastic. I really love that stuff. I'm really into it, and every little bit helps at this point. So thank you so much. Let's see what they actually look like. It's pretty cool. Oh yeah, here we go. This is it. How cool is that? Look, there's even a little snake on here. This is cool. Thank you so much. This is awesome. And like I said, I really do believe in this stuff. Just two more things. Teresa Chambers from Michigan. Looks like we've got some books here. Oh, so we got coloring pencils. We got coloring books. Look at how cool. We got koi fish. We got sloth over here. We got a reptile coloring book. You may not know this, but obviously during treatment, it can take like 4 or 5 hours for the actual treatment that you have to sit there with an IV in you. So this is going to be great to give me something to do. I'll do some coloring, get my mind off things. Thank you so much for this. This is a gift that I guarantee you I'll be using. And last for the day, this is actually from Joshua Halter. I hope I'm not boring you guys opening up stuff. I'm just trying to show the overwhelming love that you guys have showed me and how appreciative I am of everything that you're giving me. So that's Brian, please scan here. Oh, this is the bio dude. This guy is great. He does all the bioactive stuff. He's got a really cool YouTube channel. Thank you so much, dude. This means a lot to me. Got a little a little gecko on his stone here. This is cool. Little stress ball that I'll probably need a bunch. Oh, yep. You know I'm going to be needing a do-rag because there's a good chance my this is the bio do-rag. There's a good chance that you guys may not be seeing my long locks for very long. We've got a nice little tape measure. Thank you, dude. That's awesome. Look at that. That is cool. And then finally, he sent me a shirt. That's a nice tie-dye short shirt. The bio dude. Thank you so much, dude. I appreciate you, and I appreciate everyone that sent me stuff. This stuff and the stuff that I haven't opened yet. I will continue to do it, and I appreciate it. And I hope that you like the snakes that we kept, and hopefully we'll produce some babies so that you can follow along the journey. By the way, if you bought some of our adult colubrids, please send me photos. You know, not only of you having our animals, but when you get eggs and babies, that's going to really brighten me up. So I appreciate you guys and all the support you're showing me.